In our previous video, we have seen about box model. We have understood what is padding, what is margin, why we have to give borders, and also we have seen how the content will be displayed. Now in this, we are going to see what is box sizing and content box. When it comes to box sizing, this is very important property inside CSS. Using this, we can create proper layers by giving proper width and height. So for that, first we have to understand what is total height and total width of an element. Now here I have just created one div, and inside this div I am just creating one paragraph. Now for this div I have just added one background color. I have just given the color as white. Width I have given 300 pixel and height I have given this one. I'll just copy the path and here I'm just going to paste the path. Now here I'm having this output. For H1 I have just given here text align to be center. Now this is my output. This is my div container. Now let me just inspect this one. Now for this div container, I have just given the width as 300 pixel. Now what is the total width of this? I'll just write here total. Total width is equal to, now let me just check here. Now here inside this, whenever you inspect any element, you will be having one box model. Okay, you can just inspect that one and you can see the width of this element. Now let it open. And also we have seen for each and every element inside HTML, we will be having some default padding, default margin. Okay, so to remove that one inside universal selector, we will be giving margin is equal to 0 and padding is 0. Okay, now in this we are going to see why we have to give that one. Now here I am having this box. Now whenever I hover on this content, this will be displayed. Padding I don't have, border I don't have, and this is the margin. But as of now I have not given any values, so the total width is 300. Now when I hover on this, you can see inside this div I am having 300 by 300, which means I am having 300 width and 300 height. Okay, here padding is not included, border is not included, and margin is not included. Now here if I just add some border, let me just write here 2 pixel. I'll be writing solid red. I'll save this. Now you can see inside border I don't have any value here. As soon as I refresh this one, now you can see inside border I am having here 2. All the 4 sides 2 pixel is been added. Now when I hover on this, you can see the width of that div container is been increased. Now here I am having 304 into 304, which means the width is been increased. And also height is been increased because top and bottom this 2 pixel and 2 pixel is been added. Okay, now border it is going to take. Next let me just add here padding. Padding I'll just write here 20 pixel. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see 20 pixel padding has been added on all the 4 sides. Now my total width of the container will become 300 pixel plus left and right padding 20 plus 20, 340, and left and right border 2 plus 2. Totally I'll be having 344 pixel. You can see here I am having 344 pixel. Width has been increased and also height is getting increased because top and bottom we are having this padding and top and bottom we are having this border. On all the 4 sides the size will be increased. Okay, this is how the width will get increased. Okay, so to avoid this one, we are going to use the concept of box sizing, and inside that we are having 2 values, content box and border box. Content box is basically this one. Okay, this is the default. If we are not giving any value, then by default we are going to have content box. And whenever we are adding any width to the container, the padding and margin will be added inside the width. Now if I just give some margin here, let me just add some margin of 5 pixel. I save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see margin of 5 pixel is been added on all the 4 sides. But when I hover on this div container, still I am having the width as 344. Okay, which means this margin is not included inside this content box. But the width of this div container is been increased. Okay, in real life we are not going to do that one. We are not going to increase the width of the container. So for that, now here inside this, now for this I'm just going to give box sizing to be border box. As soon as I give this one, now whatever width I am having with 300 pixel, now whatever values I have given for this padding and border, that will be included inside this 300 pixel. From this 300 pixel, these values will be subtracted. Okay, let's see for that one. I'll refresh this. Now you can see whenever I hover on this div container, I am having this width as 300 by 300. But if you see in this box model, you can see here inside this container, I am having 256 by 256. Now my width is 256 For border, it has given 2 pixel of, okay, inside this 300 itself, it is going to divide. Then for padding, it has given 300 pixel. But if we just increase the padding here, let me just increase the padding. Okay, now you can see the content size will become smaller, and here it is going to do like that. It is not going to increase the width of the container. Inside that width itself, we can define all these things. Even this is not going to include any margin. You can see margin is not been included. From here, I'm just having, okay, let me just give here 20 again. For padding, I'm having 20 pixel left and right, so it is been removed. 300 minus 40, I will be getting 260, and here I'm having border 2 plus 2, 4. So totally I'm having 256 width and 256 height, because from top also it is going to remove. Okay, this is the basic difference between content box and border box. So you have to understand, whenever we are giving this element, whenever we are giving any element, by default they are going to be in content box. Whatever width we will give, if we add some padding inside that width, the padding will be added. If we are giving some padding in width, that will be included. If I'm having 200, okay, let me just explain you. Now here I'm having one container. For this, I have just given the width as 400 pixels. Okay, this is my div container. By default, we are going to have content box as our value. Now for this content, okay, now here I'm having some content. Now for this content, I have just added some padding here. This is my padding, and here I have added padding of 10 pixel. I have added padding of 10 pixel on all the 4 sides, 1, 2, 3 and 4, top, left, bottom and right. Now what it is going to do is 400 I am having as width, left I am having 10 pixel of padding, right I am having 10 pixel of padding. So this is going to add. Then again for this I am just going to give this border, and this is my border. Now let's assume here I am having 5 pixel of border. Okay, on all the 4 sides I am adding this 5 pixel of border. Now here it will be added here. For width it is going to add. Now inside this, here let me just write here 5 pixels, 5 plus 5. Okay, this border will be added. Now the total width will become 400 plus 20 plus 10. Total width is 430 now. Okay, this container, this div container width will be increased. This entire width will be increased to 440 pixel. Instead of 400, it is going to give me 430 pixel as my width. Okay, this is the content box. As soon as we give border box for this one, inside this 400 itself, let me just take another color. Inside this 400 itself, this padding will be added. Okay, whatever I am having, this padding will be added inside this one. Then we are having this border. This border also will be added here. Okay, inside this 400 itself, it is going to include, and whatever values we are having here, this will be subtracted from this one. Now totally I am having here 30, 10 pixel left and right padding, 5 pixel left and right border. So this 30 will be removed from this 400. So 400 minus 30, 400 minus 30, and total width will be 370 pixel. When it comes to border box, total width will become 370 pixel. Okay, this is the use of border box. Now here let me just come. I'll just copy this one. I'll just copy this, and here I'm just going to paste, and here instead of, let me just write here first, and here I'll be writing second. Now here inside this I'm just going to create another div. I'll just write the ID. ID is equal to first. And here I'm just going to write ID. ID is equal to second. I'll save this, and also this I'm just going to save. I'll just close this one. Now I'll just refresh this. Now here I'm having this another box. Okay, now as soon as I remove this border box from this one, now you will see the difference between box sizing and content box. You can see the width is been increased of this div container. Okay, now the total width of this div container, where I'm not having box sizing is equal to border box, will be with this 300. Then here I'm having padding of 20 pixel. So left and right 20, 20. So total 340. And here I'm having this border of 2 pixel. Now my width will be 344 pixel for this second div container. But for this one, I will be having 300 pixel. Whatever I have given here, that will be fixed. Inside this width itself, these values will be included. Inside content box, values will be added, padding and border will be added for this width. But inside border box, padding and border, whatever values we are having here, that will be subtracted from the width. and that will be included inside the width. Okay, these are the basic difference between box sizing border box and box sizing content box. Whenever we are creating any website, we will be writing this universal selector. Inside this, we will be giving this box sizing to be border box. Okay, we are just telling that in all the elements inside HTML, we just have to apply this property. Now if I just, okay, now for this one I have not given. Now here I have just given this box sizing to be border box. Now if I refresh this, now you can see for this also that is been applied. That whatever property we have given here, that is been applied. Now here if I just overwrite that one by writing box sizing to be content box, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see that property will be overridden. Okay, now this I am not going to get. Whatever value I write here, that value I am going to get for this container. Okay, this is the basic difference between box sizing and border box. Okay, in the same way we have to calculate the height. How we have done for width, the same way we can calculate for height. You have to understand this property. This is very important property in CSS. That's all for today's tutorial. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.